All right, race fans, we are back, episode 305 of the One to Go show. And Bert asked me, he goes, "Are you wearing a Cubs hat?" Yep, this is for all you Wisconsin people. And yep, they suck. Just like I was going to wear a Bobby Pierce hat, and he might be as bad as the Cubs tonight. I don't know what to tell you. Didn't even make the feature. I don't know how. I got to be honest, before we
He
get into
did
anything,
break an oil belt leading.
let me ask you this. How the hell do you not have a provisional at the beginning of the year?
For the
Why
past champion.
wouldn't it be the past champion? That's
Yeah,
the dumbest
he
shit.
passed 2 championships, maybe even 3.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely dumb. But with that said, here we are. One to Go show. Your host Ryan Aho, and of course we got our co-host here. We got Changa in the house, and we got the one and only Bert Lehman. How you boys doing tonight?
Exhausted. Let's go.
Doing good. Doing good.
Changa's bedtime's about 6 o'clock in the evening because he's like 652 years old, and if it gets past that's why you don't go to the races anymore, because he would have to leave at intermission like Uper. We found out why Uper did. He had health stuff. You, on the other hand, are literally exhausted, tired at 8 o'clock. I don't know what to say. Every day.
This way, okay.
Crazy.
You know
Crazy.
how much Worker Bee works?
Worker Bee? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so add Worker Bee, yourself, and myself together. That's how much I work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, figure that one out, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I call bullshit on that one. Kent is going to take absolute exception to that because we know that ain't true.
Just listen. Just take Kent's 13 hours a week and your 33 hours a week and my 79, add them together. That's what I really work.
Bert, can I borrow the violin? I got to.
Yeah. Let me go get some wine.
That was all for Kent. It's just
all right, so let's start with this. Top stories of the week. Okay, I actually had 3. I added 1. We have 4. Okay, the first one. So remember a couple weeks ago, a driver at Rice Lake got DQ'd, no gloves. Remember that?
Yes, okay? I do.
Chateau Speedway, they have actually changed their policy. They, instead of having helmets mandatory, personal flotation devices now mandatory at Chateau. Bert, did you see that?
I saw the pictures of the car in the water, yes.
Holy shit. Now, it's been all over the internet, so if you haven't seen it, because there are some people that listen that are not all over Facebook every day, apparently there's a river off the backside at the Chateau Speedway, Lansing, Minnesota. Economod driver Jackson Maddock in the heat race, I didn't see the video, saw the aftermath, went for a ride, lands upside down in the river. Upside down. Hats off to the safety crew for getting him out of there. That is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what kind of panic would you have if you saw a loved one, somebody that you knew, upside down in a river in a race car?
You know, from what I understand, he's a young kid, like maybe 13 years old.
Well, that's a damn good thing, because the kid probably holds his breath and can get out of there.
His dad apparently can run like the wind because he was there. Everybody was there. And from what I understand, I mean, there's a wall all the way down there, and there's just one opening, and I don't know if it goes to the pits, what it goes to, but there's one opening, and he they put that wall up so that can't happen. Well, that one opening, he found a way to get through it and go upside down into that thing. But man, like you said, shout out to the safety crew, and a bunch of guys apparently got in there, lifted the car up onto its side so he could get his head out of water. Unreal, man. That was just oof. Guaranteed there's some things coming, improvements to that track to prevent that even further.
They got to put a fence there now or something. I mean, they're going to have to completely. I mean, I drove Eric Anderson's B-Mod here, 2 years ago it was, or last year or whatever, when I got nominated in Hibbing. It's been a while, right? Yep. I'm here to tell you, I'm old, not quite in shape like I was, and getting out of that car, I literally lost sleep the night before I raced it, because I got in the car and getting my shoulders out through the bars, I'm like, if something happens, I'm going to be stuck in here. I would have died of a heart attack if I would have been upside down in that car. That would have been absolutely traumatizing.
I do need to tell you though, round is a shape, just so you know.
That is fair. I appreciate that, man. I thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So yeah, glad to see Jackson is all right. Absolute crazy scene. Johnny Erickson years back, Street Stock went down to Montevideo. They had a big swamp off the back straightaway there, and he ended up in that deal and needed a front clip, and they're digging stuff out of that. And I was told that there'd be times they go down into that swamp water there, and they'd have fish and all kinds of stuff in cars. So
Really.
water and racetracks, I don't know that they necessarily mix. Donkey of the Year candidate right here, boys. Donkey of the Year candidate. Bert, we are going to explain to you why WISSOTA is a far superior, as much as we bang on WISSOTA, okay? Especially me. We're going to explain to you very quickly here what makes WISSOTA significantly better than IMCA, okay? It is absolutely, this is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my entire life. So you're familiar with this guy, Jake Sackhow? He won the Harris Clash and the IMCA Supernats last year in the IMCA Sport Mods. So he's down 8 wins on the year, should be 9. Incidentally, turns out he got DQ'd this last week, right? And I think he has 16 shows, so pretty much a 50% win percentage. Pretty fast shoe. So according to the reports, he wins the feature at Boone, Victory Lane celebration, goes to post-race tech, goes back to his trailer for the track owner, promoter, whatever, being there, standing there, for that person to say, I'm going to buy your motor. And he's like, I mean, it's used, I'll sell it. What are you talking about, right? Nope, I'm claiming you. $500, you got to give me your motor. Okay, and I don't know what an IMCA Sport Mod motor costs, but I'm gonna guess $7, $8, $9, $10,000 in that realm. Okay, way over 500. Is that fair? Way over 500. Now we're all fully aware of how the claim rule works with drivers, especially in IMCA. WISSOTA had it, right? Top 5 would go to the tech or to the claim area. 6 to 12. I don't know what it is in IMCA, but 6 to 12. As long as you're on the lead lap, you are eligible to claim $500, or there's a different fee and an exchange, right? A track promoter can claim an engine. This is literally the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Okay, dumbest shit. Okay, now, A, you can't claim that motor back. B, this is just stupid, right? So imagine this for just a minute. Tom Nesbitt wins a race, and he shows up, and the track promoter comes over and tells him, Tom, I'm going to give you $500. You got to give me your motor. How long before the cops would show up to bring Tom Nesbitt, take his hands off the throat of the promoter? How long would I mean, it would have been.
We're going to hope the cops are already there, or the guy's going to be dead.
100%, Bert.
Just to play devil's advocate, I don't agree with what happened, but the drivers know the rules when they decide to race in that division. So, I mean,
is it only that division, or is it
well,
too?
no, I mean, in IMCA. I mean, if you're going to race IMCA, you know what the rules are. You know that it's possible this could, granted, it hardly ever happens.
Has it ever happened?
I'm sure it's happened before.
I've
but,
never heard of it in my entire life. I've
So
heard of
then
drivers. I've never heard of a track.
Right. Maybe it's not the donkey of the freaking year. Maybe it's the douchebag of the year for actually doing that.
Well, donkey, jackass, same thing. So I'm giving that promoter the jackass award. Okay. So yes, they know the rules, and yes, they are stupid. Now let's say I don't know this guy from the Man on the Moon. Let's say this guy's a budget racer, which, as much as he wins, more than likely not, but let's just assume that he is. There's a lot of racers out there on a budget. A lot of racers will have one engine. One. Now, he may have 2, 3, 5. I have no idea. But we know in today's landscape, people are broke. There's a lot of drivers that have one engine. If you literally bought that person's engine for $500 and they gave it up and you only had one engine, you know what? Your year is over. You ain't racing anymore. So he's ending a guy's season. That guy turned down the claim, right? 30-day suspension, $1,000 fine, loses a point lead. Absolutely ridiculous. According to that driver, he specifically said in his little press release that he was told he wins too much and that he wanted to make a point out of him. Now that is bonkers. This is now just imagine if this happened in Wissota. You know there's tracks out there right now hurting for money, right? A lot of these board run tracks hurting for money, right? Hell, some promoter tracks hurting for money. What a profitable deal you can have. We'll just claim a couple motors every week, jump around, take that motor we bought for 500, sell it for $5,000. You have a hell of a good night. You can raise the purse every single week. Shit, we'll just claim a motor or two, sell it. How this is even a thing is beyond me. IMCA has literally got to pull their heads completely out of their ass on this one. This is just mind-boggling. Drivers claiming drivers, bad enough, right? But a track promoter claiming a driver. And what sucks, right, is the biggest races in IMCA are there, right? You got the Harris Clash there, you got the Boone Super Nationals there. This ain't some podunk track that doesn't have any big specials where you'd be like, who gives a shit? I don't like racing there anyway. What are you gonna do? Not race there anymore? That's where all the big shows are on IMCA. It's absolutely stupid.
And like back in my day, which was like a million years ago, right? Like you said, 1 through 5 could get claimed by 6 through 10 or whatever the deal was. You had the option of taking the money and the motor, or you could just take a little bit more money and not their motor as well. But from in all of that, the protest or the claim, they would tell you right at the scales, right? From what I understand, this guy is all the way back, at his trailer, and he finds out in his trailer, right? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life, But the next deal, although they got it right, that's probably just as ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I just want to go a little bit more on this IMCA deal.
Let's do it.
I mean, like Changa said, it is. I mean, if it happened the way the driver described that it happened, I believe they were. Well, the top 4 cars get teched, and the driver said that they didn't have the right size Allen wrench to tech something, so he went to his trailer to get an Allen wrench, and that's when the promoter told him this. But to Changa's point, yeah, if it's a driver claiming the engine, the drivers have claim cards. The driver has to have on his possession when the race is over the claim card as well as the cash to claim
before the start
engine.
Of the feature race.
And they need after the feature, right? The top 4 have to go to the claim area, and any one of the top 4 can get claimed by any driver that finishes on the lead lap. Is my understanding, and then they also have. So yeah, I mean, to me, if the promoter's going to claim, they should have to be right in that claim area also.
Right. And chances are he wasn't, because they had to go back to their trailer for the proper tools for inspection. But
it's safe to say a fair amount of time went by before this decision was made, right? I mean,
if he probably had that mind made up before that race even started, right? So, and just think about this though. I'm just talking to the drivers now. If you're a Wissota racer and you're like, Wissota sucks, it's terrible. I know there's USRA people down in Deer Creek, Mississippi Thunder that are like, we're sick of USRA. We want to go IMCA. It literally seems like every driver doesn't like their sanctioning body. It just doesn't matter what the sanctioning body is, okay? But if you are wondering, like, boy, we should go IMCA, I just want you to think, are you a budget racer? Are you one of those racers out there right now that has one engine, right? Could you afford in the middle of the year, right, to go buy another engine to keep your season going? It's bad enough you blow up, but if you had a track promoter claim your engine, I don't know. That's next level right there.
Well, and see, the problem too, in my opinion, is, and we've talked about this a lot so far this year. We've talked about car counts, fan attendance at races, and so by doing this and this driver well, I mean, I believe this driver said he was running for the national title. So I mean, he was going to be chasing races all over the place. So by him turning this down because this promoter claimed his engine, um, the fans lose out on at least 30 days of this guy racing at whatever tracks he was going to race at. And, plus the guy has to pay $1,000 fine to race again in
And
IMCA.
the fans and the promoters of these other tracks,
Right,
Boone's an outlier because they get a big car count, right? Just like 141, big car count, right? Not a lot of tracks do, right? It's just the reality of it. So they're gonna miss out all year because he can't come back racing out to basically the beginning of July, right? Well, you're not
right.
gonna go on a national championship run starting in July. I mean, is it possible? As Bert would say, anything is possible, right? But the
Well,
likelihood of
that's
that,
not possible. That's
yeah,
not possible.
the likelihood of that is not. And so now all these other outlying tracks, you're going to have a driver saying, well, I was going to go race there on a Sunday. No sense doing that. I mean, I'm not racing for points anymore anyway. Now you'll just pick and choose, do money races. So yeah, really, really bad deal at Boone. So you WISSOTA drivers out there that listen to us chirp about WISSOTA too much and get a thought process in your mind that we think WISSOTA is the worst. It's not. It's not the worst. Okay, let's just be honest. Every one of them has their faults. This is a big, big problem that should be changed. And back in the day, drivers would band together and they just say, "We're just not going to race until this is resolved and this is fixed." That won't happen today, but it should. So now let's jump into one donkey award avoided. Donkey award avoided. Changa, what do we got there?
So the American Crate Late Model Association, and excuse me because I don't remember where the race was held at there.
Kennedale,
Annandale.
Texas.
Okay, so
Yep.
Chase Holland wins this race, right? And apparently that series has a rule against having pit crew, fans, friends, family in victory lane or whatever. So after the completion of this race, he wins. He's in victory lane. That particular track actually has a walkway, from what I understand, as it goes over the track so that people can safely get there to be involved with the victory lane celebration, pictures, yada yada yada, right?
And
So
and my understanding is that track deliberately got his
100%.
family and
Yep,
crew
yep.
over there.
So
Yeah.
the track promoter or whomever, someone from the track waved them people across to go to victory lane to do whatever celebration they're going to do, right? So long story short, they decide they're going to disqualify him for breaking the rules of the sanctioning body and having these people in victory lane for the celebration. Um, and they took away the money, the win, the points, obviously. Now, after a whole bunch of people, including the track promoter, taking a whole bunch of blame for this and people complaining to them, they did reverse it and ended up giving them the money and the win. But, uh, that was a pretty sketchy deal there for a minute, right?
Oh, I mean, that could have been bad. I mean, like you said, I mean, we're at a track where that's allowed, and we'll touch on that in a second. But hats off to whoever resolved this. Sounds like there was things got a little crazy, death threats and people. I mean, people got off their rail. But it sounds to me like the folks from Kennedale Speedway Park got a hold of the series and said, "Look, this can't happen. We got to fix this." So hats off to them for doing the right thing. Um, Especially at a racetrack that not only allows them, but they built special provisions to get the fans
Mhm.
down there. I mean, this was almost an absolute fiasco. But Bert, at Shawano, when people win, do families and crew and all that, do they go into victory lane at Shawano?
Yes, I mean they're allowed in victory lane if they're down in the pit area, but there are um people also can sit in the stands, and if their driver wins, I mean, just for example, Trent Nolan's wife sits across the aisle from where I usually sit, and her and their kids. And if Trent wins, she usually hurries down and gets across the track before the next race starts, so she can be in the pictures with her husband, and also the kids can be in the pictures.
In a landscape that we have today of racing, right, where the numbers just aren't there anymore, right? It just, I mean, 95% of the places, the numbers aren't there. Significant others are at home questioning whether, do we want to continue to spend our money on this? The families have to be a part of it,
Yeah.
right? So the only time they get to be part of the win is being in victory lane. And I am going to give a donkey award. I'm not going to give a special shout out to the track. You know who you are, okay? You know who you are. There are tracks out there that have put out social media posts in the last week that we're sorry, but we're not going to allow family and friends and all that to be down in victory lane for photos. That's ridiculous. Now, with that said, if you're a track that has a problem getting done in a 3-hour window, right? If you're that track that's 4 or 5 hours long, then you got to do that, okay? Because nobody wants to have the whole program delay if you got 7 classes and now we got 15-minute victory lane photo celebrations for every single feature. That
Well,
can't happen, right? That can't happen.
well, I mean, like in Shawano, I mean, the photos take place in Victory Lane while the next race is going on. It's just a matter of in between races. I mean, there's time in between the races that the cars have to pull out onto the track and the cars on the track have to pull off the track. So,
Well,
Right.
you
that's
know, they can do the transition
Shawano,
down in.
Shawano's big. It's Talladega of dirt.
Well, right.
Big. Most tracks, you can absolutely not be taking victory lane
Well,
photos
that's just it.
during a race.
If you're going to allow it, then your whole procedures have to make it safe for it to happen, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I went to 141 last week, and yeah, they probably don't allow it there because that would hold up the show.
Yeah.
The way
yeah.
the track is configured and how small it is, and how
Most of
how
the small
quick their
tracks would.
program is. Because I mean, they had 179 cars last year or
Right.
last week.
100%. So they got to be super Johnny
Right.
on the spot, right? They got to be efficient because we talk about it all the time. We can't have 4, 5, 6 hour long marathons. So if they can do that in a timely fashion, fantastic. If they can't, then they got to do different things. I have seen at some of these tracks where the photographer said, we don't allow the people down in the victory lane right after the feature. However, if you want to get everybody together after, we'll stick around, get your family down there. That's a thing. But I do think at some point, some way, some shape or form, the family being in victory lane, especially at a special for a specific class, that's a big deal. They need to be a part of it. So
Yeah, and actually, now that I think about it, the tracks in eastern Wisconsin, Shawano's probably the only track where you can cross the track during the racing program.
they have a skywalk deal or what?
No, they let you cross the track.
Oh, not during the race.
Not during the
program.
race,
Okay.
in between races. But the other tracks, I mean, nobody from the, because everybody pits. Well, now in Shawano, everybody pits on the outside too, but some people still go into the infield to watch the races. But the other tracks, fans don't go into the into the infield at all. It's just all photographers.
Interesting.
So.
And I don't have a problem with that during the race, like if there's a race going on, but yeah, it's interesting deal nonetheless. Now, this next topic here is a little volatile. Let's just put it that way. And I'm friends with both parties. But I've had 852 messages. You going to talk about this? You going to talk about this? You going to talk about this? Bert, you hear what happened at Cedar Lake?
No, I didn't.
Little bit of drama. Now, I'll say this. Everything I got is secondhand. I'm not going to get into a lot of details. I'm going to keep it pretty simple, right? Because I've had a lot of people reach out. Hey, here's what I saw. Here's what I heard. I'm not going to do all that, right? So all I'll say on this matter is this. During the late model feature, which I did not watch, so I do not know personally the details. Chad Mater, Cade Nelson, they weren't exchanging Christmas cards after that race, okay? Evidently, Chad Mater was displeased with how Cade Nelson was driving. Again, didn't see it, don't know, okay? Displeased to the point where he went down into Cade Nelson's pits, who is a teenager, minor. He's a minor. Well, again, I've heard 1,000 stories on this is what happened and this was all that. I don't know any of that. Okay. All I know is there was an altercation, there was a discussion, things got heated, right? And there was enough stuff that happened, don't know all the details, where the cops were called. Chad Mater gets arrested, thrown in jail. Very volatile deal. So I ain't taking sides because all I got is 1,000 different messages each direction. I don't know. Okay. I've had people say, well, should a 16-year-old or whatever be racing a late model? I don't know. You look at his results, he's running good. I don't know. I mean, he's not. Did he get a little? Maybe he got a little Western. I don't know, right? Bobby Pierce does every single night. Okay. So that is what it is. I don't know. He seems to do the part. Caden Blazer's phenomenal. Blake Adams won a natty, as a teenager. So certain drivers, there's no issue with that. Some people are like, well, you can't get after it. Well, it's not 1980, right? There's not usually Donnybrooks in the pits when you're mad at somebody, you might yell at them or take it out on them on the track. So I don't know about all that, right? But the fact of the matter is, I don't know the particulars at all. Okay. All I got is a lot of he said, she said, but this brings us back. It kind of jogs our memory from 2 years ago when Ricky Weiss had his ordeal. He had an ordeal, and again, that whatever happened, pleads guilty. He's not even allowed back into the United States. Hopefully, right, for Chad's sake, it doesn't get to that point where he's getting felony charges or whatever that means. Because I mean, the stories are endless that I've heard. I who knows? You got to kind of filter through all the BS on what's the case. But the fact of the matter is, if there was a physical altercation with a minor, that could be bad, right? That could be bad. So
And
I don't
keep in
know.
mind, not that it's the whole situation sucks, right? But
Right.
Cedar Lake running unsanctioned. At least it wasn't a Wasota race where he'd be facing a Wasota suspension, couldn't go anywhere, right?
That for sure. I did look at my race
Aside from the
pass.
legal things.
No DQs. No DQs in my race pass.
Right.
So he didn't get DQ'd. He still got 10th. But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things and I'll be the first to admit when I raced, if somebody drove over me or whatever, or I felt like they did, I was one of the first to go down their pits and let them know, right? That's just the racing world in general. Should we do that? Probably not, right? I mean, the old adage, if you go into somebody else's pit chirping, don't be surprised you leave with a black eye, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. Now, 16-year-old kid probably not going to throw a haymaker on a grown adult. So there is that, but I mean, I don't want to get into he said, she said, and all that, but God dang, I mean, there's a lot of teenagers out there, right? There's a lot of teenagers racing. Racers, you got to be freaking smart enough to realize you don't go get in a heated discussion with a teenager. What are we doing here, right? It can only end bad. I mean, you got to, and I get it. Things get a little heated and let's face it, it don't matter if they're adults or young kids or whatever. Every one of us can get a little spicy once in a while with the way we talk to people and handle stuff, and things get out of hand really quick. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be more on that in the next week. Hopefully everything gets dropped. Hopefully they're like, hey, look, we're gonna wash our hands. It is what it is. I don't know what the whole ordeal is gonna be, but super ugly situation there at Cedar Lake.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know anything that happened with the incident, so I really can't comment too much on that. But you made the comment that some people are saying, should a 16-year-old be racing in the late model division? I don't buy that argument at all. I mean, if the driver can handle themselves, they should be more than welcome to race in that division. I mean, it was a few weeks ago when the World of Outlaw late models were racing in Pennsylvania. A 15-year-old was running with the Outlaws and was running good. I mean, he was running really well. And I saw a headline today that a 17-year-old got a ride at the Dream for the weekend and is going to be racing for a team. I mean, a 17-year-old at the Dream in Eldora. I mean, he's a minor, but I mean, if he can handle himself, he should be allowed to race. So, I don't buy into that, well, if they're a minor, they shouldn't be racing.
Well, let's be honest. There's 40, 50, 60-year-olds out there that you kind of look at them and you're like,
Right.
really? Really? So, I mean, yeah, the age thing is, yeah, are there 14, 15, 16-year-olds that shouldn't be racing? Absolutely, right? There absolutely is. They're not ready yet. But, he's accomplished. He's won a lot of
But
races.
but then, and you mentioned this too. I mean, as a driver these days, you need to be aware of the ages of the of the driver you're going to talk to or confront.
I mean, kind of the same thing with gals out there. There's a lot of gals out there. I mean, imagine somebody going and have that kind of altercation with Kennedy Swan or something, right? I mean, yeah, I didn't see what happened on the track. Obviously, I wasn't at Cedar, so I didn't see what happened there. All I know was an ugly situation. Hopefully, they get it resolved. Hopefully there's no charges pressed and all that. I guess we'll have to see what happens. With that said, do you guys go to any races this past weekend?
I went to the Dirt Kings race at 141.
Oh, you were there. Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
was there.
when we get to the late models, we'll let you touch
Yeah.
on that. I made the trip over to the Hibbing Speedway for the first time this year. I went on Saturday with my dad, and interesting, right? There were some things, that were interesting. I didn't think the racing was that bad. You know, um, track was a
What was
li
the? Yeah, I heard the track. I had a driver in at work the other day that said, do we really need to have that tardy race at that place? Because it was a little rough. I'm like, this is Hibbing Raceway. It's been rough one time in the last 85
and
years. I mean,
and I
it'll be
talked
fine.
to I talked to some drivers and they probably don't want their names out, and they said it was a weird rough, right? It wasn't like big holes, it wasn't ruts. It was a first night on the track. It was a little choppy. It was fast. They had some moisture in it. There was grip all night long. Um, we've seen rough tracks. Beginning of the year last year in Hibbing, the first 3 weeks, horrible rough. This past week, the people that know how to drive through the holes a little bit had absolutely no issues. It wasn't like deep ruts where it was destroying race cars or whatever. A few people hooked them wrong, turned the wrong, got facing the opposite direction, but I don't think it was terrible. Tyler Kittner came from last to fourth in the supers. Zach Wallers got into second, chased down Skeeter Esty from a straightaway behind and almost won that deal. So the Hornets, as always, side by side for the win. I don't think the racing was terrible. Was it a 10? Was it like, oh my God, that place was absolutely incredible? Well, no, it wasn't that. But was it a dumpster fire? Because I'm not going to mention tracks, but we've seen tracks to begin the year where the track was so dry and abrasive that everybody melted their tires off their car the first night, right? So it wasn't that. And so I don't know. It was kind of an average track, but it was a new track prep person too because they had a change in their track prep crew. So I would expect it's going to get a lot better. I am not concerned about the Hibbing Speedway having a good surface, and car counts were pretty light, under 10 in the late models, under 10 in the mods, which isn't a surprise. Late models a bit of a surprise. In the teens and the supers. Midwest Mod's a good count. The one thing that stuck out to me, Crown Vic class, I think I counted 6 drivers in that new Crown Vic class that have never even raced before. So that's
Nice.
kind of a cool deal, brought new people, right? And that's kind of the idea because you're not going to get new people that never raced before spending 50 grand on a race car. That ain't going to happen. Um, so yeah, I think all in all, it was a pretty good experience. Got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while and talked about the tardy race, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but there's a lot of buzz. The tardy race, there's a lot of buzz. And if people are wondering, should we go? Just look at the Tardy Memorial page. There's a lot of money to be had that night, so I would definitely get that one on your calendar. So let's jump into a little who's hot. I was going to do who's hot, who's not. I just don't think we're quite there yet as far as a sample size on the not. We'll stick with the kind of who should we be keeping an eye on right now. But first, a shout out to Mac and his wife over at East Central Sports over in Rush City, Minnesota, about half hour or so north of the Twin Cities, right off of I-35. They're your number one source for pit bikes, kids ATVs, Toro lawnmowers, golf carts, and a whole lot more. They got the little four-wheelers there, all kinds of cool kid stuff over at East Central Sports. Let them know you heard about them here on the One to Go show, and you get a $100 discount on your next purchase. Check them out online at www.eastcentralsports.com. So, on the national scene, night number one just got done here, boys, at Eldora, Castrol Flow Racing Night in America. The thrill from Mooresville. Nick Hoffman looking sporty again, getting the win. But on the national scene, other than that, Bert, I'll let you go first, and Changa, then, or whatever. You can go first, Changa. That's fine. Either one of you two
Changa,
can go first.
ahead.
So,
Go
well,
ahead.
because I wanted to use that. So obviously, we just saw it. My cousin Bill's favorite driver, the thrill from Mooresville, Nick Hoffman, coming off of the $100,057 win, along with a couple other good finishes last week. He picks up, was it 20,000 to win in the Castro race tonight? So Nick Hoffman, hot at the right time, let's say.
100%. Bert?
Yeah, I agree with Changa on that. Nick Hoffman, Dale McDowell starts mid pack again and finishes. I believe he finished third tonight at Eldora. He's my driver, so go Dale McDowell.
Where did Sheppy end up? He came from the bus and he was in seventh last I saw.
I thought, yeah, he was near the top five, if not in the top five. So, but I don't know if we're talking about this later, but did you see where they raced last weekend? Where was it? It was a
Mansfield.
sand pit. Did you see what happened after the first night of racing there? Mark
I
Richards.
did.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're talking about that later or if we want to talk about it now.
No, we'll talk about it right now. Yeah, on the national scene, we'll talk about all the kind of, that's what we'll do. We'll talk about our hot, and then if there's something that we want to talk about on the national or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple other guys that are hot, but we got to leave something for Ryan too.
But yeah,
I'm good.
I mean,
I'm good.
I only caught a few laps of the race on Friday night, but yeah, it was very dusty, and driver said it wasn't good. And then Nick Hoffman posted this, actually, I believe, that Mark Richards, owner of Rocket Chassis, got on the grader and was working on the track till like 4 a.m. or something like that, and then a track prep guy from a different track helped them.
It was Wells from Infinity Chassis. He was in the skid steer. Yeah.
All right. Yep. And so they got the track in much better condition for the next night of racing. So kudos to them for doing that.
Well, how about this? Did you see what happened before the feature?
Mm-mm.
Really? You didn't see what happened before the feature? So night number one, Bert, how much was it to win? 12 grand?
Oh, that, yes. I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah.
It was 12,000, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the Nis family from down there, evidently they know the promoter. They decided, well, how about we make it 100? The drivers are buckled in, getting ready to go out, and they're like, hey boys, we're racing for 100 grand to win. Turbo Tyler Erb gets it done. I got to be honest, that was a cool moment. Seeing somebody that wins their first big payday like that, just the authentic, the excitement that person has. Nothing against Pierce or Davenport or whatever winning, but they've won so many of them that But
that was the first one for Turbo and Hoffman. So
yeah, for sure. So that kind of excitement, and then they come back the next night. They put the money up again. They went from 57,000, made it 100,000, $57. Kind of unheard of. Very, very cool deal. Both of those drivers, their first ever six-figure paydays. Hats off to the folks at Mansfield. Yeah, it's Ohio. The Ohio dirt is not all that fantastic in general. I mean, the Waynes County the night before was absolute dust bowl as well. But super cool deal. They got a lot of good stuff happening, and with all the money they're spending down at that place, there's no doubt that they're looking at the clay going, might have to do something different here. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to start trucking in some stuff, getting some different material down. Speaking of Turbo had the best average finish at the Ohio tracks last week. What did he end up tonight? He was inside the top 10, wasn't he, Bert? Do you got it in front of you there by chance or no?
I do not. I could look it up if you want me to.
Yeah. Take a peek and look that up. But Turbo's kind of been on a little bit of a burner. He got a first and a fourth there at Mansfield. And then did you happen to see who the point leader is in the comp cams late models there, Changa?
Gotta be Dillard by like a landslide. He's won like
Yeah.
all but one or two races.
Yeah, so
Well,
obviously not following the World of Outlaws. He's not at Eldora tonight. He may be there tomorrow, but Dillard doubles up, wins at Texarkana. Arkla Tex 165-point lead, pretty much putting it to the boys on that little regional series they got down there. But I think the biggest one obviously had to be Mansfield. And then speaking of national scene, Changa, did you happen to see the tire rule that they're bringing forth for the USMTS modifieds next weekend at the Masters at the Cedar Lake Speedway?
I did not see that. Fill us in on it.
They are doing basically the same thing that the Northern Lights Mod Tour does. If you have a WISSOTA car, you're going to run your WISSOTA program, WISSOTA Hoosiers, and everything. So, USMTS show at Cedar Lake, WISSOTA, it's I think the same thing they do at Ogilvy, where they can run their WISSOTA stuff there too. Could this be a trend? We're seeing more and more of this where sanctioning bodies, certain events are allowing multiple manufacturers of tires. This can only be good for racing because competition within the tire market can only do one thing. You would think that it would have to curb the prices because if you have something going on like this where this becomes a trend and all of a sudden that next tire company is like, well, hell, I mean, if you can run our tires, we'll just make them $10 cheaper, and go that route. So a
That
little
you
bit of
see, and that's the
competition.
thing. My guess is they ain't gonna let a USRA car run a Hoosier.
Nope.
So I mean, when it does, or if and when it actually gets to that point, and a USRA guy can pick, and the WISSOTA guy can pick, that's when the competition can drive the quality up and the price down, right?
That's what we can hope for because that's the only thing that can fix this tire issue is that. So interesting deal. USMTS going Hoosiers allowed on WISSOTA cars. I would have to think that's going to bring a handful of them over there. Anything else on the national scene, boys, before we jump onto the regional late
No, I
models?
guess I'm not. I don't know if you'd consider it national, maybe, but I sent you that link on the whole PA posse thing with Danny Dietrich getting.
Right.
He must have gotten DQ'd down there. They've got this year. They've got that series that they run. It's a point series that bounces around all them Pennsylvania area tracks, and um, apparently I don't know what all the details, but he must have gotten DQ'd, and he was like, "Well, screw it. I'm off the tour. There's essentially no reason we should be running a tour, and every track we go to, we've got different rules, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, tracks do have their own rules, but we're running within a series, and they should be the same everywhere we go." I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's exactly it. Whether it's a traveling series or a sanctioning body, right? Okay, car rules, if you take a sanctioning body in general, car rules have to be the same in theory
Right, right.
everywhere, right? Just depends how much things get teched at certain places, okay? But on the flip side, race procedures, how they do things, teching, that's still not like a lot for sure in WISSOTA. It's not the same everywhere. Now, maybe the new head of teching is trying to fix that. I don't know, right? But over the last several years, it's been start zones are different and everything's different. The race procedures, everything's different. Series, it should absolutely all be the same. I mean, it shouldn't be a question. You come in, you're racing a series, this is the procedure, this is how you line up, how you qualify, teching, what's tech. I mean, everything should be the same. The fact that it's not is just laziness on the parts of these tracks, right? That's really what it comes down to is laziness because it's not that hard to get together and just solidify that, especially if you're a series. That he's spot on that for sure. That's a big hit to that PA Posse series too,
Yeah, it is.
because Dietrich is probably one of their top three drivers in PA right now. Him and of course we know that what's his face is hurt. Um, the concrete kid,
Yeah.
he's hurt, right? So yeah, so that's a tough hit there for sure. Let's jump into late models. So Bert, you were at 141.
Well,
Fill us in. What happened over there?
hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Tyler Erb finished 8th tonight.
Oh, okay.
And Brandon Shepard finished 4th.
Oh wow. think he started 20th or 22nd or 22nd maybe, or he was way back there anyway.
So that tells you there was some passing to be had anyway. Hopefully they don't lose the track because
And
4 days of racing is tough.
Moran got inside the leader with a lap or two to go there, and I don't know how close to the front he started either, but he must have
Did he
started.
get second?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it was Hoffman, Moran, and then McDowell, I believe. All right.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go regional, local, Wissota, so on and so forth. Late models. What do you got?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was at Dirt King show at 141. They had a good car count. They actually had to have two Bs, so that was that.
Wow.
You guys probably think, oh, big deal, but
Not anymore.
for
Not
us
anymore.
over here in eastern Wisconsin, two Bs for a late model show. Pretty happy. But there were some Western drivers there. Jesse Glenn's made the trip there. Uh, Jake Radetsky was there from Western Wisconsin. Corey Krapser was there. So it was good to see those guys. Oh, and Jake Tim was there. Um, Tim had issue
Transponder issue.
with his transponder during qualifying. He was either he was in the first or second qualifying group, and they timed three cars at a time. They didn't get a time for him. He pulled off the track. They let him come back on the track and run 3 laps by himself. Still didn't get a time. And then the announcer said, well, maybe he has the wrong type of transponder. There's two different color transponders. And apparently that was the issue. He had the wrong type of transponder. So they let him come back out at the end of qualifying to qualify, but the track had slowed down by that time from when his group was on the track, so he didn't have a very good qualifying time. But he did get up to third place in the feature. But it was a 46 lap feature, I think, and um, the first 20-25 laps were really good, but then it was a train. It locked down, and it was a train for the last half of the race. And
He
Tim was
got
trying.
hung.
He was trying to make the high side work, and he just kept falling back and back, and then he pulled off eventually. But Jesse Glenn's, yep, the trip out east paid off for him. He won, I believe it was 4,300. It was like 43 to 4,600 to win. I can't remember. I know at one point it was 43. I'm not sure if they increase it every year or not, but a little disappointed he didn't jump into the pond though, like his tradition for drivers to do. He posted on Facebook he has a
Just
white
laid.
driver's suit. So yeah,
He laid and put his head in.
he dipped his head into the pond. But the heat races were really good. I mean, it was really good, but I mean, like I said, they had 179 cars. There's a lot of racing on that track, and unfortunately, I've seen more choo-choo train races, late model races at 141 than not. But like I said, the first half of the race was really good. Um, I did contact the owner of the track on Sunday. Um, about because they have that 2-day World of Outlaw show coming up, and I don't want the track locking down at the Outlaw show. They did farm the top 10 feet or so of the track. Um, the owner of the speedway did tell me that he asked Dirt Kings if they wanted a complete farm, and they said no because it was cold out, so they didn't think it was going to lock down, but it locked down. So he said that, for the Outlaw show, he said he has a lot of equipment available for farming it. So hopefully that'll take care of that issue.
Well, that's why Cedar Lake is usually really good for the USA Nationals, right?
Right.
Because they have so many events, and over the history, regardless of if it was a Cooks or the current regime over there now, they can play around with how they're doing the track prep. So when their big specials happen, they don't run into that, right? And in 141, they can use this. They can be like, look, we had a lot
Right.
of cars. We did this. It latched up. Now we know what we got to do different
Right.
next time.
Exactly.
They do a pretty good job over there. They got a lot of
Yeah.
really good shows.
Well,
I would expect that to be good.
I was very impressed with how they, normally I mean, I went to one of their weekly shows last year, but this was the first one this year, and they run a very tight show. I mean, the cars pull out onto the track in corner 4, um, and they pull out onto the track. They come around, the flag stand is on the front stretch. The front stretch is there. They come around and they're green the next lap. And that's the way it should be. I've been at tracks where they'll do like 5 parade laps before a heat race. And it's just like, why? Just let's go.
100%.
And
Yeah,
I
you
think
got.
I'm sorry. I think I talked to you just about this the other day, Ryan. I mean, I was up the other night trying to watch Soda race, and I won't name the racetrack, but I'm up and I was interested to see the last couple features. And I mean, it was everything I could do to even stay awake. I mean, we're at midnight here and I'm prying my eyes open, and it's just like, God, there's so many needless delays in the program, the needless parade lap after parade lap after parade lap. It's like, my God, I mean, it just seemed, and I wasn't there, so maybe there's something I'm not seeing, right? But it just seemed like there was a lot of needless waste of time in the program, to the point
that
where I was like, screw this, I just want to shut it off and go.
that's why the best race directors out there, that's why they get paid good money to do what they do, because it's their job to keep everything on a tight schedule. Some of them are very, very good at doing that. Some of them are not. But the fact is, you need somebody cracking the whip to keep things going. Speaking of keeping things going, Changa, who do you got here on the late models?
Well, I
Oh,
got a couple more things.
all right, Bert. All right. Crack the whip on you here.
Um, Joe Bennett continues to stay hot. He finished second in the Dirt Kings race at 141, and he won the night before at Outagamie Speedway in Seymour. So he continues to stay hot. I'm assuming he'll be racing out with Soda Challenge
I
Series
would
this
think.
upcoming weekend, and some people are maybe wondering why Nick Avalink wasn't higher up in the rundown. He did finish 4th. He started 15th, though. He was running second I believe it was second in his heat race when he got turned. And Dirt Kings must have a uh, no fault rule. So both cars went to the rear. And so he did qualify for the feature through the heat race, but he started
Bert,
15th.
me
Good
and
rebound.
Ryan, yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
What's
Me and
that?
Ryan were actually talking about something the other day. Now, quite a few of the cars that were at 141 didn't go to Angel Park, right? I mean, and
Right.
guys like Anvilink that have run that series for points in the past. Now we don't know if he is this year, or even the gentleman you just talked about that got second at
Bennett.
141. Yeah,
Bennett.
like I was surprised to not see a few more of them guys make the trip to Angel Park. I know it's not a real favorable late model track from what I've heard, but if you're running a series for points, do they have a throwout show in that series that we don't know about? Or
Unless they've changed the rules, they have at least one throwout, if not two. Um, but yeah, Angel Park is a really small track. You couldn't for late models, you couldn't even do a 4 wide salute because the track's not wide enough to
it's
do a
it's
four.
weird, right? Because it's not small, it's narrow, right? Because it's
Right.
actually a fairly decent sized track. It's a big 3/8, but you're right. I went there. I was too cold to remember what was happening. I went to that World of Outlaw show. It is super narrow. It is definitely
Yeah.
narrow. I mean, it was narrow for sprint cars, and they're way smaller than a late model. So,
Yeah. Yeah, actually the World of Outlaws, they're gonna be here. They're gonna be there on Sunday night, this
right.
coming Sunday. But just two more things. Have you guys ever I mean, we've all been to races where a driver has done double duty. Have you been to a race where a driver's done triple duty?
Oh yeah.
Nebraska
Oh,
at
okay.
the time.
7A, 7A.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. We had two drivers doing triple duty at 141 on Saturday night. Benji Lacrosse was racing one of Paul Parker's late models.
How
So
do you do?
he did very well. He was second fast qualifier in his group, so he started on the outside of the front row. And he started um he started eighth and finished seventh. But he's just such a smooth driver. I mean, he looked really smooth in the late model. He's just a natural driver. He can just drive anything. And so yeah, he finished seventh, and then Cole Zarneski also raced late model, and he started fifth and finished eighth. So
Okay.
top 10 runs for
Both in
them.
the top 10. Yeah, both in the
Yep.
top 10. And like you said, there was two B mains there, so it's not like, well, they both finished in the top 10. There was 12 of them,
Right.
two B mains, totally different. So both of them two very accomplished drivers for sure. All right, Changa.
All right, we'll go name off a couple here. So Dustin Strand gets a pair of NLRA wins last week. Um, Locally, Skeeter Esty gets the win at Hibbing and Proctor. Other than that, it kind of seems like the 7A is
Pause you
heating
there.
up a
I'm going to
little.
pause you there because JR brought this up. What is the common denominator between the 37X and the 71?
AK.
That's 4 wins in that AK chassis, Bert.
Yep.
That is pretty notable for sure.
Yeah,
And
only
then
other thing I had was I think 7A got a pair last week at Rapids and Gondik as well. So he seems to be heating up in that late model. Seems to be a little better than he was this time last year, anyhow.
Cedar Lake looks like they're kind of their car count. They had a really, they have 23 late models there on Saturday. Some really quality cars too. Um, Cedar Lake, are they getting back to the Cedar Lake of old where they got like that top contingent on a weekly basis of late models? Kind of looking maybe that way a little bit. We talked about the driver out west that you heard his name.
Yeah,
Did you
three
see
cars.
three? Why do you gotta go? A win's a win. Come on now. What the hell's wrong with you? Gotta
Morris
take
Oberly.
Morris Oberly getting it done. Yeah, sure, there was 3 cars, but a win's a win. Come on, what you gotta bang on the guy like that for? Um, Danny Van getting one at Ogilvy, G.O.A.T getting another win, Searing at Huron, only 9 cars there. Kind of a theme. But Sobraski, like you said, I mean, Rapids and Gondik Law Speedway had a nice contingent of cars, 20 late models in the house at Superior. So definitely some good late model counts to go around. Let's jump into the mods. Bert, you got anything on the mods?
Yeah, I have well, first of all, Cole Zarneski finished sixth in the modified, and Benji finished 21st in the modified. So they didn't do the best in the modifieds. But I have to give a mention to Mike Whittlestat for winning the feature at 141 last week. Last year he was in our not hot list more often than not. He had a lot of bad finishes DNFs last year, but he parked it in victory lane at 141 on Saturday night, and he looked really stout out there. And then got to give a shout out to Dylan Waldenvogel, probably pronounced it wrong. He's won 2 weeks in a row at Shawano Speedway in the modified. Uh, uh, 2 weeks ago was his first modified feature win ever, and he backed it up last week with another one.
Nice. Okay. Changa?
Well, the hot stay hot, right? Caden Blazer, 2 more this weekend at Red Cedar and Cedar Lake. How
Eight
about
straight. Eight
great?
straight for the 43K.
How about Johnny Broking had a pair of wins last week at Rapids, and then where else did he win?
Hibbing.
Rapids and Hibbing. Then he got a second up at Proctor as well. So good weekend for Johnny.
Speaking of Johnny, okay. Did you watch a late model feature at Gondik?
Oof. Yes, I did.
Not gonna get a Christmas card from 31. Do you know how I found out about that? From Johnny. He texted me. He goes,
I,
"Yeah,
I watched that. Yeah.
yeah." He texted me. He goes, "I kind of fucked up. I think Buddha's gonna be a little bit mad at me. He kind of owes me one." He said, and I
No doubt
watched
about
it,
it.
and it could have been a lot worse. I mean, he came in, he tried to throw the slider, and then got tight, and then he went straight up the racetrack. And it's like if you lift, you're gonna turn to the right. So what do you do? And
Hitting
he
the
went up
gas
the
and run them over.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Budo lost a bunch of spots on that one, and I'm like, did he come down and say nothing? He's like, no, he didn't, and he says I'm gonna have to reach out to him and tell him he probably owes me one. So Johnny recognized that right away. He reached out to me. He was like, yeah, and he even sent me the video. He's like, yeah, he goes, that was my bad. He said so.
I guess another local guy I saw, um, Brandon Kopp won the opener up at ABC Raceway, so he seems to be turning things around. He's got a couple of wins here lately. I didn't see, but how he did tonight, but I know he was up in Thunder Bay tonight, and he typically runs pretty well up there. So
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet from tonight either. I do know that Chernosky doubled up there last week, winning the super stocks and the modifieds. It's worth noting that they had the Northern Lights modified series came over to the I-94 Speedway and the Viking Speedway. Of course, Sunday I believe rained out, and kind of a mixed bag. I think they had about 10, 12 of the USRA cars make the trip over there. Smoked Joe Chisholm one night one over at Fergus, and then at Viking a Wissota car got it done. We had Brady or Gertis, or not Gert, my bad. It was Dusty Bitson in the 10X got it done. So two races, right? A USRA car wins one, a Wissota car wins the other one. That was pretty noteworthy. But like you said, I mean, there's nobody hotter in Wissota modified racing. Well, I guess Cedar Lake's not Wissota technically, right? But there's nobody hotter in modified racing in our area than Caden Blazer right now. He is absolutely on fire, and Caden or Todd, if you guys are listening, Friday, July 10th, love to have you in Hibbing. Get a hold of me, right? Love to have you in Hibbing. Extra pay for the mods that night. I'd like to see Caden Blazer up at the special I'm helping with up there. That'd be super cool to have him in the house for that one. How about the super stocks, Changa? We'll come back to stock cars for Bert. Bert, unless you have something on the supers.
No,
Okay.
no.
well, for the 400th, well, what episode did you tell me this was this year or this week?
05, 305.
305. So for about the 250th time, we'll put Shane Sabraski on the hot list. He got a pair of wins at Rapids and
Ogilvy.
Ogilvy last week, and then we had Stu Baca gets a pair last weekend at Gondik and ABC Raceway. So a couple of guys that are remaining hot. It's kind of on a collision course as it appears.
Yeah, we got a couple interesting things. I'll just kind of run down. Carter Rents with a win at KRA. Um, did you see Trevor Nelson did not win at the Brown County Speedway? Austin Arbogast got that one done in the 67. DK9 with another win at P-Town. Dylan Crom Schroeder and Radetzky at Red Cedar. Out at Big Sky, Ryan Fashing and Gallatin. Shocker, right? Casey Stephenson with a win in Montana. Who would have thought it? Dalton Carlson continues to get better and better. In fact, Bert, we got a lot of different bonuses for the tardy race, people putting in money, some just putting it into the purse, some throwing it into different things, right? And somebody said, hey, we're going to throw $100 in there for whoever finishes one spot ahead of Dalton Carlson. And they said it was from the ABC Motorsports, anybody but Carlson. So when you're winning races and running good, you get those haters out there, and so that's an honor. That's a badge of honor. Dylan Nelson getting it done at North Central. So did you happen to see who won at the Rice Lake Speedway?
Well, from what I understand, the Myers kid won but didn't win. Is that
Ryan
what
Olson gets the win. Alex Meyer wins. Okay, no, hear me out on this one. Okay, this is from, I talked to a couple sources. So Alex Myers wins the feature, goes to Victory Lane. In Victory Lane, they pull the mud covers off the tires. I don't know if they were going to check the air or whatever they were going to do, but they took the mud covers off. Automatic DQ. Race director called down from the booth, said that driver's disqualified, absolutely done. Well, what's he gonna do? Change fucking tires? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, who gives a crap if you took the mud covers off your tires in victory lane? Literally nobody cares. Like, why would anybody care?
Never heard that one.
DQ'd in post race tech for taking the mud plugs off his tires. So, what does that tell you? In my mind, right? If you win the race, you go to the scale, then you go to victory lane. Everybody now, all these tracks are trying to, you go to victory lane. I don't understand why you would go to victory lane before you go to post race tech, right? I get it. If they're going to tech like a big thing or whatever, takes a minute, right? But go across the scale, measure deck height, do all that, and then go to victory lane, right? I get it. It takes a minute longer, but let the winner go on first so they can come back out. So he goes through the whole victory lane deal, gets DQ'd for pulling mud covers off, and I frivolous, another frivolous DQ, right? Absolutely stupid. Trevor Sauer at Viking. Chris Warwick got a win this past weekend at the Cedar Lake Speedway. It's been a hot minute since he's been in victory lane. Cameron LaBelle and Bemidji, and then Steve Stewart might have had a little something. I don't know if he was leading. Was he leading in Proctor? Did McFadden pass him?
No, McFadden pulled away from him. I mean, he wasn't.
Did you see the right rear tire on the 80?
No.
It bulminated. There was nothing left. He was on a slick. So he might have had a little something for Sean McFadden, who McFadden's a good dude. Congrats to him on getting the win, but tough break for Steve Stewart on that one for sure. Let's jump into the before we jump into the Midwest mods, how about a shout out to Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating, since we're on Supers, #1 sponsor of the best series in Wissota Racing. That's the Northland Superstock Series. They do it all over there, custom powder coating, sandblasting, fabricating, you name it, they do it. Service a lot of racetracks, sponsor a lot of people and a lot of things. Thank you to the folks over at Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating in Ashland, Wisconsin. Shameless plug for the Fastlane Superstock Series. Get it on your calendar. Just do this. Jump online, go on Facebook, Tardy Memorial page, give it a like, give it a follow, scroll down through, look at all the different bonuses, all the different money that's being added to that deal. It is absolutely going to be a banger. You're going to want to be in Hibbing, Minnesota, Hibbing Speedway, Friday, July 10th. Let's jump into the Midwest mods, sport mods. Bert, you got anything on that? Or are we jumping over to Changa?
No, well, I have one.
Okay.
I mean, the driver in eastern Wisconsin to beat is Coy Vlies. He has raced in 11 features this year. He's won 8 of them, and he's finished in the top 5 all 11 features. He's won every feature so far this year at Luxie Speedway in Luxembourg, or Luxie Raceway. So actually now this week at Luxie, there is a $700 bounty out on him.
Nice.
So,
and if he goes to Boone, he's going to get an extra $500 for his motor over there. So I probably wouldn't go to Boone, Iowa. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, the sad thing is,
schedule.
Can't go there and beat him either. So
right. Nice.
So,
yeah, he's been on a tear. I hope they don't start claiming engines up there as a racetrack like they do down in Iowa. Let's just say that. All right, Changa, Midwest mods, you got anything there?
Well, the 40D got a pair of wins this weekend at Rapids and Proctor. Garrett Paul got a pair as well at Gondik and Hibbing. Your defending national champ got her done at the ABC Raceway for their opener. And I guess that's a few of the guys I had on my list.
Garrett Paul was impressive this weekend. Second generation driver racing against Gavin. Garrett looks really, really strong in that 16. You talked about Blake. You talked about Jake Stye getting a nice win over at Red Cedar and a pretty stout field of cars over there, 22 cars over there. Nick Kaler's been really strong at Rice Lake. That's been kind of the Achilles heel for old Blake. Kaler's kind of been the guy to beat a little bit more often than not, but Blake's going to get his as well. In fact, Blake has 9 on the year, leading the way in the Wissota Midwest mods right now, so he does have the most, approaching double digits. Jory Berg, 3 of his last 4. He's got 4 wins on the year.
Yeah.
In that BO car. So he's been really fun to watch as well. And then you look at if you had to guess, okay, obviously Thunder City has the biggest car count. They had 38, okay? I-94, they had boy, I don't think it was a special for Midwest mods. I-94 had 31 B mods. Pretty solid. Who do you think was the next track in line as far as car count in the B mods? You got any guesses on that?
Gillette.
Gillette. 27 Midwest mods. You'd think a Liker would have won. Rough night for the Liker contingent. Matt Drake getting it done in the 391. Congratulations to him. Vandy with another win at Cedar Lake. Shocker there. Let's jump into the let's jump into the stock cars here. What do you got there?
I'll just stay on Benji and Cole Zarneski on how they did in the three divisions they raced in. Cole won the stock car feature at 141, and Benji finished second. So
Nice.
they had a very good night there.
For sure they did. I got to get to 141, Bert. They got a lot of cars over there. They must have some pretty cool things happening. Changa, street stocks?
Well, it appears as though Levi Rant is heating up. He had another win here this weekend at I-94. Justin Vogel down at KRA on Thursday. There was one other one that kind of stuck out. Someone Cole Gresseth, he never seems to lose, right? Got one up in Bemidji that I know of. And then the old 111 out in Redwood. So, I mean, God, he hardly ever loses this year either. So, Tourville.
He hasn't lost a race he finished. He got one DNF, 7 wins. Keith Tourville. He won at Red Cedar, too. Did you see that? Yeah.
I don't know if I did see that. Yeah.
Keith Tourville making a rare trip over to the Red Cedar Speedway. He's made a lot of laps there in the past, but surprised to see him over there. Parker Anderson back behind the wheel again. He got a win at Rice Lake. Eric Riley staying hot in western Minnesota with a win at Viking. Grady Myers over at Huron. Little Pogo got a pair of wins. He won at P-Town and at Ogilvie. Tommy Pagonis. Speaking of Ogilvie, okay. So Princeton, as we know, they're getting what, 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars? Bert, they're going to have one less for a couple weeks here because allegedly Levi Rant, not afraid to get a little Western right now. And Jimmy Gullickson, I didn't watch it, so I don't know, but sounds like Jimmy Gullickson was not happy with some stuff that happened with Levi Rant on the racetrack. Jimmy Gullickson, one of the top runners, decides to go down in the pits, spin rocks at him. And apparently rocks hit some people. 2-week suspension, $500 fine. Gonna have to keep them emotions in check, boys. Again, not judging, been there, done that, right? So I get it. Emotions get hot. It's racing, but man, oh man, lucky. He's lucky he didn't get a full 30 days. He got half of that. He got 5. They called it a minor unsportsmanlike. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. Otherwise, probably would have been more. How about a shout out here? Brad Parsons Soil and Egg Solutions. So Western Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, you name it. If you're in the farming industry, what are you looking to do? You're looking to make money. Can't control the weather, can't control fuel prices, crop prices, but you can control what you're using to get a better yield. And that's what Brad Parson has to offer. Great products, great price. Give them a call, 320-219-3542 to learn about all the great products Brad Parsons Soil and Egg Solution has for you. Grassroots boys, what do we got to close out the hot list here? What do we got on grassroots stuff?
Go ahead, Changa.
Okay, well, Dustin Holtquist stays hot with a pair of wins here this week in the Mod 4.
7 wins, Changa, 10 races. 7 wins and 10 races for Dustin Holtquist.
Simon Wallstrom got a pair as well, Rice Lake, and he came up to a rare trip up to Proctor and got her done. Here's one. Nathan Penny, he got a win this week at Gondik Law, and then he went to Proctor on Sunday, got second, and was DQ'd. Do you know anything about that one at all?
I tried to look into it. I did not hear anything as far as what happened or why. I did ask somebody if it was on the DQ report. They haven't seen an email, so they're not really sure if it's a minor or a major. Not really sure what happened there.
What you got?
Well, I got Austin Carlson, the 57 pure stock, 5 for 5 to start the season. That's a hell of a good run there. His brother Dalton getting it done. Austin getting a pair of wins this weekend. He won over at Grand Rapids and over at Bemidji. Simon Wallstrom, of course, right? He ran Mod Supers. There's a lot of people kind of grumbling about him being in a pure stock. I get it, right? I mean, you can't call it a beginner class. I don't know what his budget is, but I'll just say this. If you want to race a super, a mod, whatever, you're going to spend a lot of money. And I get it. Pure stocks are expensive too, but they're nowhere near those other classes. So if that's the class that he can afford to be in, I'd rather have him do that than not race. And that led me to the Crown Vics in Hibbing. Did you see who won the Crown Vic feature in Hibbing?
Oh yeah, but it's buried in
Mike
my notes here.
Mike
Oh yes,
Mike
yes, yes.
Blevins.
Lemons, yep.
And that's raising a little controversy over there as well, because like I said, there's 6 drivers in that class that never raced a car before. And then you got a guy that was a multi-time national champ. He's running a B mod, right? And he's running a Crown Vic. And I get it, trying to build the class up and so on. But boy, I don't know. That's a tough one, right? Because should he be racing that class? Should he not? I mean, there's no rule against it. Should there be? Um, I'll say this: they build their own cars to save money because they're not they're not independently wealthy. They're not millionaires by any means, and they field 3B mods, with the family there. So, some people were grumbling about that a bit about him being in the Crown Vics. It'll be interesting to see if he stays in that class and if somebody has something for him before the end of the year here. Um, Also in the Hornets, you talked about Nathan Penny, but Roner is a guy that Jeff Roner,
Oh
boy,
yeah.
he's a guy he just don't lose. I mean, Brady Fossil looking to maybe make a little run at a natty here, but he's gonna have to steal some wins from Jeff Roner. Gonna have to get a little quicker. He had a rough weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then McKenna Folstad getting the win over in Grand Rapids. Brady, I think, was leading that one and broke. So that was kind of a tough deal for him. So let's jump. I guess let's jump into the last. We have some closing tidbits here. Speaking of that, so Brady Fossil, let's talk about the one to go show cars, right? Brady Fossil, DNF leading in Grand Rapids, DNF'd in Gondik, and then he went to Proctor and got a 4th. Skipped Saturday for a wedding. It should be a donkey award. I don't know. We might have to do that, Bert. You can't be skipping racing on a national championship run to go to a wedding. I don't know if this is popular or not. Maybe in Wisconsin, just tell me go to the next one. Not a big deal, right? All right, just kidding. I don't need no hate mail on that one. Go ahead, Bert.
I was just gonna say I forgot to mention one driver.
Oh,
I should mention him because I know he listens to the show every week. Chris Ortel had a good run in Dirt King's race. He finished third in the feature. So he's had a tough start to the year this year. So it was good to see him finish
that's a big night. That's a big
finish
night.
third. Started 11th and finished third. So good
Nice.
run for him.
Good job, Chris. Former silver 1000 winner right there. So the 83 cars had a lot better night. They DNF both of them in the first night at Sycamore. Brian got 7th in the feature, moved forward, not as far as we'd like to see him move forward, but he moved forward. And Dave got the bridesmaid award again. He got a 2nd place behind Zuby, but a hell of a lot better night than he did the first night. Speaking of Illinois, couple notable things over there. Spoon River. We're talking about tracks and car count and all that. Bert, did you see what happened at Spoon River?
No, not Spoon River. I've heard about Peoria though.
Yep.
I saw that. Yeah.
Spoon River.
Yeah.
They
Spoon
were
River.
they
They
were at race
canceled.
time. Yep, they were
Yeah, they
basically at
canceled
draw
due to
cutoff.
not enough cars or something.
15 total cars in all their classes. And they're like, we'll just give everybody their money back. We don't have enough cars to have a show. That's a scary deal. That, folks, is
Yeah.
going to be the reality at more tracks as we move forward. Hate to say it, just the way it is.
Well, that's what leads to what happened at Peoria.
100%. Yeah, Peoria, the track promoter over there, I think it's a lease deal that he has, announced that all they're running for the remainder of the year is going to be their UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals Hell Tour event. Weekly racing is done. I think he has a track for sale or the lease for sale. I'm not sure which one it is, but essentially looks like he just wants to get out of that deal. And and no more weekly racing at Peoria. So that's two big tracks right there, Spoon River and Peoria, struggling mightily. So I'm telling you right now, and I've said this a million times, and I'm guilty of it. We all are as racers, right? But very, very easy to get critical of your home track, your local track, the track you race at, and just bang on the promoter and bang on this. Well, you start looking at what happens at Peoria, you're looking at what happens at Spoon River. We all want better. We all want things to be perfect. It's just the way it is. But sometimes you got to sit back and I'm just kind of happy we have a racetrack, right? And that's kind of where we got to be. And speaking of a promoter that gets banged on a little bit, North Central Speedway. So James Trantina took that over. Talked to Pogo today. Incredible renovation. They're putting a lot, or not they, James putting a lot of money into North Central. A lot of stuff happening over there. Did you see what happened in the sport complex over there?
I wasn't it Hornets or same thing type of deal?
I
Yeah.
think that's IMCA.
Okay,
I
so
think they're IMCA.
I didn't see what happened there, but I did see the new section of grandstands up there. I did
Yeah,
see a
they're
picture of
doing
it.
a lot. And they announced the late model show,
Yep.
not this coming Saturday, but the following one. So hopefully that's well attended over there. But one of the driver sport compact, you can't put lead on the car. You can't add ballast.
Yes. Yep.
Well, they found weight. The weight was a hammerhead. A hammerhead. It was like 2 pounds, whatever, 2, 3, 4 pounds inside the left front fender. DQ'd them. Like, it's ballast. They DQ'd them. And the driver took offense. They got pretty vocal. They got suspended indefinitely. And to make light of the situation, they actually made us, because that driver wouldn't give the trophy back. So they actually made a little trophy using a hammerhead and put a tail on it and gave it a name. And they're giving that trophy to the driver that was awarded the win after the DQ.
I did
So
see that. Yeah.
yeah, kind of funny. So yeah, so that's it on other tidbits. Anything else before we get into the final to bring this thing home? Anything else?
Well, I found it kind of interesting to see Jimmy Owens at Eldora on a Masters built chassis this week. So
Right,
that was kind of
right.
neat to see it.
Yeah, he's kind of bouncing around trying to find a home right now. So before we get into our pick'ems recap, a shout out Agara Cafe, functional coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, if you're looking to feel better, have more energy, maybe get rid of some joint pain, regulate them blood sugars, whatever it may be, it's worth giving me a call. I'll send you a bag to try. 218-969-1380. I drink it every day. I've eliminated energy drinks. My blood sugar numbers are in check. Super happy with it. It's been a great product for me. So, Pick'em's recap. Uper has risen from the ashes to be victorious in week 21. How about that? Uper with a win fresh out of the hospital. Congrats to him. Changa extends his lead. I was gaining on him, Bert, within just a handful, and then all of a sudden he put his foot back on the gas. He's 19 up, 20 officially because he gained a point on me last night. Don't know what happened tonight. I think we might have had the same people tonight. So I'm in second. He's at 274. I'm at 255. Mutter is at 250. Governor and Dano at 247. And then it goes Tardy, Bert, Bromance, Uper, Rainman, Worker Bee, Man Bun, Dan, Beefcake, and Cue Ball rounding out the field. Tonga, what are we picking this week?
This week's picks, we are picking the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars at Hartford Speedway in Hartford, Michigan, Friday. The Plymouth Dirt Track in Plymouth, Wisconsin on Saturday, and Angel Park Speedway in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin on Sunday. We're picking the high limit sprint cars at, we picked them Monday at Davenport Speedway. That one was won by Kyle Larson. We picked them tonight at Red Cedar Speedway, which was won by Kyle Larson. Who else? We're picking tomorrow at my home track, the Gondik Law Speedway in Superior, Wisconsin. They go to I-94 Speedway in Fergus Falls on Friday and the Dakota Speedway in Mandan, North Dakota on Saturday. We were picking USMTS mods and SLMRA late models at Mississippi Thunder this weekend, but Mother Nature claimed the victory in that one. So we're picking the Tri-State Late Model Series out at the Dakota State Fair Speedway in Huron, South Dakota, Thursday and Saturday. The Brown County Speedway in Aberdeen, South Dakota, Friday. And then we are picking the late model, Wissota Late Model Challenge Series at Fiesta Speedway in Montevideo, Minnesota on Friday and Saturday. And the Casino Speedway in Watertown, South Dakota on Sunday. And that is that co-sanctioned?
Yeah, well, there's no points
Kind
for
of.
the tri-state, but they're letting the tri-state cars run.
Right,
Yep.
right. And then we are picking the 2000 to win Midwest Modified Special at the Red Cedar Speedway in Menominee on Friday. And then, yeah, the NLRA late models at the River City Speedway on Friday.
All right. So that's where we're at as far as races. Let's jump into our bold predictions. We had a few come off the board this past week. I'll give you, we keep track of correct predictions and correct percentages. So Uper had 3 come off the board. He said Donnie Schatz would have a pair of top 5s at his couple home area tracks, and one of them would be a podium. Well, the first of the 2, he got 8th. Now, he added to it that there'd be at least one Eisenschenk in both features. Layla Eisenschenk made the show, and she beat a handful of cars. So he had that part of it right. I was like, you're freaking crazy. But yeah, that actually happened. I did see, but I didn't write down what position. I think she was like
I
16,
think she,
17.
yeah, she was, I think she was like +5.
Yeah, yeah. So Layla Eisenschenk making the show at the World of Outlaws. And then he had 2 other ones come off the board. He said the Ironman Shane Sabraski would win at least 30% of the races he entered this week, and 50% would be on the podium. Well, he had 9 races, 5 wins. So that's over 50% there, and he had 6 podiums, which is 66%. So that was correct. He said BP 32 would be winless in Ohio, a third, and a 6 for Bobby Pierce. So that was correct as well. So Changa, you had 3 come off the board, or 2 come off the board. One of them is a push for a little bit later down the road. You said the mailman, Devin Moran, 3 top 5 finishes this week. No.
About none.
6th, 6th, and 19th. He did, however, get second tonight. And you said the NLRA point leader after the weekend would be Shane Edgerton, and that is correct. A 6-point lead over Brad Sang. So 1 wrong, 1 right for you there. I had 3. I had, let's see, 1, 2 come off the board. I said Cole Schill would be the point leader in NLRA. He's 3rd. That did not happen. And I said the highest average finish at the Ohio World of Outlaw late model races would be a non-woo driver. Well, that was Turbo. Tyler Erb had the best average finish, so that was wrong. So that puts our numbers at, and Bert didn't get his predictions in last week.
Did
He
we give
forgot to
Bert
send them.
6 this week?
Yeah, we're gonna give him -3 is what we're gonna
No, I
give
think we
him.
should give him 6 picks this week.
Right? Maybe. No, we won't do that. So,
Well,
so
just give me 3 points because all my picks would have been correct if I would have made
right,
them.
right. So
I
Changa,
think we
you're
give them the
leading the
amount of
way.
right corrections based on your percentage. So if you get 30, average 33%, we'll just give you 1 for the week.
It's
Fair enough.
probably better than I do most weeks.
Right, right. Well, Changa's leading the way as far as correct predictions. He's got 16. I have 14. You per 12. Bert, you're at 9. Okay. You'd be over 10 if you pick them every week here. Come on, guys. What are we doing? Right. And then as far as correct percentage, I'm at 42.4. Changa's at 40. So you're right there nipping on my heels. And then Uper and Bert, you're both right at 37.5%. So you're tied with Uper. You're not a cellar dweller by yourself in that prediction. So let's make 3 bold predictions each. Changa has Uper's this week. Bert, we'll start with you. Then we'll I don't care which way you do it, yours or Uper's first, and then I'll go last. What do you guys got?
I will go to the dream and say that the winner will be a first-time winner of the dream race. Not at Eldora, but of the dream race.
You literally sniped Uper.
Yeah,
That's
Uber
why
had it.
that's why I did this one first.
Right?
Off
All
the
right.
record, who will it be?
I don't think McDowell's ever won the dream, has he?
I know he's won at Eldora. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's won at Eldora. I don't know if he's won the dream.
He maybe did.
Possibly, yeah. I'm not sure. It'll be a first time winner though, whoever it is.
Okay.
Well,
So,
we'll let Uper do the same because he ain't on
yeah,
here.
we'll let you. Yeah, Uper's first pick. Well, I'll just go with it. Well, I'll just use that as his first pick. It'll be a first-time dream winner.
Yep. Got it. All right. What's yours?
Oh, goodness, I was caught off guard. I'm going to go to the World of Outlaw sprint cars. And I'm going to say, well, I mean, this isn't real bold, but I'm gonna go David Gravel has a higher average finish than Carson Macedo or Buddy Kofoid this week.
41M, better average finish.
No, no. David Gravel, which is
Oh.
2, higher average finish than 41M.
Oh, okay.
Or
Boy, that's a real tough one.
well,
Hey,
I mean,
David Gravel, point leader, is going to have a better average finish
well,
than anybody.
right. Well, them two been beating them lately.
They
Won a
have.
race in a while.
So he's gonna have a better average finish than Macedo and
And
Kofoid.
yes.
Okay. All right, I'll give it to you. All right. Okay.
I was caught
David
off guard.
Gravel, a better average finish than Carson Macedo and Buddy Kofoid. All right. I'm gonna go to the Dream. More World of Outlaw late model cars than Lucas cars in the top 5 on the final night. More World of Outlaw cars than Lucas cars in the top 5 of the Dream. All right, Bert, your second lapper on the track.
I'm gonna go high limit, and right so we'll have no more than one podium finish this week of the remaining races.
Okay, so that would be, I guess that would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Correct.
No more than one. Okay.
Right, so no more. How many got to race for that to happen?
I'd say at least 2.
Okay, so no more than one top podium. Is that what you said, or top 5?
Podium.
Podium. Right, so no more than one podium.
He's got the boat anchor out right now.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, flat tonight.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he got a flat left rear running in the top, maybe even in the top 3, and then he went to the back. I think he got back up to like 11th.
Okay. Huh. He went backwards Monday night.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't seem to like the chop. That thing that track had some character, and he was kind of okay in clean air. And once there was traffic, and he was not liking the character in that racetrack. Uper's second pick. We're gonna go with this one. He says Uper, as in Jeff the First, will finish
the OG Ranger.
Yep. Will finish ahead of Changa in the draft.
Oh yeah, that when we were talking about the picks, we're also doing, just so everybody knows, we also did a draft for the Dream.
Yep. We can yeah. So I think that is the least bold. I don't even think that should qualify because everybody beats Changa in drafts. I mean,
yeah, that's a bunt. That's a bunt for sure. For sure. Changa, let's do yours. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with there will be a first-time winner of the Dirt Late Model Dream this year, and that driver will be Nick Hoffman.
Okay. Nick Hoffman wins the Dream. Okay. That's bold. That's 1 out of 84. That's bold for sure. He was good tonight.
And there might be more cars there than there was tonight.
Probably be a few more. I'm going to go Challenge Series. Kevin Burdick, your current point leader. I think Tyler Peterson's in second.
Yes.
TPO will have the point lead after this weekend. Tyler Peterson will be the point leader in the Challenge Series after this weekend's races. Now, with that said, we're Dirty 30 fans. It is what it is, but TPO is just so dang good at those tracks. He's so good at Monty. He's exceptionally good.
Either one of you have them points in front of you?
I think he's 7 points back.
Yeah, he's 7 points back. I looked at it
Where's
today.
Sabrowski in that mix?
He's third, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yep. I don't know how far back though. It must be like 12 or something like that, but I don't have that in front of me. All right, Changa, or Bert, I guess. Bert, your third one here.
All right, I'm gonna say between TPO and Chad Becker, those two will have at least a combination of 3 feature wins this weekend.
In the late model?
Late model.
Okay. TPO and Becker combine for 3+ late model wins this week.
How many races have to happen?
At least 2. Or yeah, at least 3, I guess, technically.
One of them they'll be head to head.
Right.
At least 5.
I would say they're only going to race Friday, Saturday, Sunday, each of them, so that's 6.
Well,
so only one rain out can happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Only one rain out. And actually, that's technically, we'll call it 2, 4. Yeah, that'd be 5. Yeah, 5. Actually, 2, 4. There's only 5 of them races going to happen, right? There's only 5 races.
Yeah, because one they're both in.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
only one rain out. Should we just put that?
Only one rain out.
Only one rain out.
Otherwise, it's void.
Yes.
Okay.
It's void with more than one rain out.
Okay. 2 of them are going to rain out, and he'll get the 3 wins, and he'll screw himself out of the points.
Unless there's 3 wins before that.
Uper's third pick. The combination of Kyle Larson and David Gravel will win 40% or better of the high limit and World of Outlaws sprint car races that happen this week.
40% or more. Okay. Larson Gravel will combine for over 40% of the wins between the high limit and World of Outlaws sprint car races this week. Changa, your third one.
I'm going to go more bold than what you did. I'm going to go with the 7A with Shane Sabrowski will be the point leader in the Challenge Series after the weekend.
Oh, okay. I just looked it up. Sabrowski is also 7 points back.
Okay, so just as bold.
Same.
Cole Searing's 10 points back, and Eater is 11 points back.
Okay, yeah, after 2 races, it's obviously pretty tight. All right, I'll take my fourth and final, or third and final, fourth, Jesus. Third and final one here. I'm going to go Casino Speedway, okay? Casino Speedway, at least 4 of the top 5 cars will be strictly WISSOTA legal cars because they're allowing the tri-state races. So essentially, no more than one non-WISSOTA, like the tri-state car. I think Trevor Anderson has a WISSOTA legal car because he runs at Aberdeen. But if I have to do some digging on that, I will. But no more than one non-WISSOTA car in the top 5. No more than one non-WISSOTA car. Top 5. All right. So who did you guys pick for the dream draft here? I know. Do you have it? Oh, you probably don't have it in front of you. You do have yours? Do you have ours or no?
No, I just have my own.
All right. So you go first.
So Changa's not such a good dream team. The captain of the team is going to be the Rocket Shep, Brandon Shepard. My second round pick was Carson Ferguson. My third round pick was Joseph Joyner. My fourth round pick was Mike Spatola. My fifth round pick was Dalton Cook. And my sixth round flyer was Billy Moyer Sr. We'll see if he bothers to show up tomorrow or not, or the next day.
Okay. Bert?
My first round pick was Dale McDowell. Second round was Mike Marlar. Third round was Dustin Sorensen, who I don't think is going. Kyle Strickler in the fourth round. Jordan Kohler in the fifth, who I'm not sure if he's going. And Kyle Hammer in the
Was
final
he there
round.
tonight?
Yeah,
Was he there tonight? Okay.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had the first overall pick, right? And I took Superman, Jonathan Davenport, who had the boat anchor out tonight, right? He wasn't even top 10, was he?
He was back to 11th last I saw.
Yeah. So right around 10th. So I had him. But then 14-person draft, I picked 28th and 29th on the turn, right? So my next five people did not even make the feature at last year's Dream. So I like my first pick. I don't know how much I like the others. I got Zach Mitchell, who did make the show tonight, didn't do very well.
He was competitive. He was kind of in the
Like
mix there.
20th, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was up there for a while.
I got Jason Fager. I got Sam Seawright. I got Casey Burdett. And then I took Uper Jr. I took Jeffrey Erickson from Michigan with my final pick because it's like, man, nobody left, right? And that's who I ended up with. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. So I guess we'll close it out. We'll let Chonga go to bed. And Bert doesn't work tomorrow. I got to get back on the road. So as always,
That's
thank.
why Bert was joining us tonight. What the hell
Yeah.
is Bert thing? And he's got energy, man. I think were you pounding some of that agave
No.
or something?
Right. Exactly. So as always, thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.